All right, there we go. Got it shared. We are on the air, even though nobody's in the chat room yet, but that's okay. Hey, good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, October 1st, 2019. Yes, I know. Let me say that again, just because it probably blew your mind the way that it blew mine. It is Tuesday, October 1st, 2019. How crazy is that? This year is just flying by. Hopefully, this is the last time that I will be coming to you from a sweltering Kansas City, where it has been stupid hot here for it being fall. So I got to say, I'm not a big fan of that. But hopefully, our weather is going to get a little better here coming up soon, as I hope everyone else's is. If you're up north, you're already getting snow. You guys can keep that up there. We really don't need that down here. Much love for my sign for today. I thought it was pretty funny. So first thing that I want to do is take a moment to thank our guest from last week, Pastor Rob Wagner, who was here. If you did not see last week's show, it is definitely worth checking out, because that guy is just crazy smart, and the stuff that he shared with us last week was really cool, and to the point where I just kind of found myself sitting there listening to him and forgetting that I'm sort of mildly hosting a show. And yeah, so I'm glad Joe was on it, because I was listening and trying to absorb everything and take it all in. And I mean, let's be real honest here. That guy is a published author. He has pastored mega churches. He's got his new church going right now. Like, he didn't need any of this nonsense, but he did this because he is that good of a guy, and just gave us a little rub. And so that was cool. I really appreciate his time and efforts in joining us. I want to share with you guys, I know we're doing a little bit of housekeeping here, share just a little bit that, our camera is pixelating something crazy. Well, I hope that's not on my end. We're looking good, everyone. Anyway, we do have a new website going now. We just got that up and running. So if you want to go to the website, we're still in the process of kind of converting and moving everything over. Go to www.hittingthewallpodcast.com, and that will get you to our new site. So hopefully you can check that out. And again, we're still in the process of getting it from the old show to the new show, but we'll get there. Anyway, that's what the new address is. So I want to talk today, just here real quick. You guys might be wondering about the attire, the relief for Las Vegas and the Vegas hat. It was actually 2 years ago today that there was the mass shooting in Las Vegas that left 58 people dead. It's still the largest mass shooting on U.S. soil, and it was all of 1 week after I had just gotten back from Vegas. So it was definitely something that always resonated with me, because I walked right by that concert where it took place as they were starting to set up the stage for the concert the next weekend. So it's always been something that's stuck out in my mind. So I just want to take a moment. It's been 2 years since that shooting, but still nothing but love for Vegas and for the people who were affected. I know that what law enforcement came up with was not satisfying to anyone at all. There was still no motive known, and the guy who did it was just off his rocker. So anyway, nothing but love to the Vegas folks. I wanted to make sure that we marked that anniversary, as it has been 2 years. So I know that probably everyone is getting a little tired of the whole hitting the wall references, as we've been throwing at you for about 5 weeks now. We're going to do this episode tonight, and then we're going to kind of start moving on from it. But because we've had guests here the last 2 weeks, I've wanted to just kind of wrap up with my opinion, the things that they shared that I thought were worth talking to you about again. And then next week, we'll kind of start to move on and get into other things. So apologies for the analogies. Boy, say that 3 times fast. But we're just going to kind of finish that up. So I want to remind you guys that this show is my opinion. Okay, that's all I can relay to you is my opinion on things. It's the way that I see it. It's what I think about it. You are more than welcome to disagree with me. I am not ever going to sit here and try and convince you that I am 100% right, and that I'm 100% right all the time, and that my way is the only way. So I want to make sure that is out there, that I'm not going to try and get you to do that. What I'm sharing tonight is what I heard from both Rob and Joe over the last 2 weeks, and it's my own personal opinion on it. Again, disagree with me all you'd like. you have the comment section, so make sure you voice it, even if you disagree with me. And if you agree with me, great, but I'm not trying to sit here and say that my way is the only way, and if you disagree with me, I'm not going to be thrilled with you. Not at all the case. Please tell me I'm an idiot, and I'm good with that. So the one thing that Rob talked about last week that I want to hit on this week, because I thought it was such a great point, like it was spot on. And I'm just going to kind of take his point, and I'm going to relate it to my own life. It was what he was talking about with the idea of the pivot for parents. That thing that totally blew me away. So as parents, we have to pivot our own roles within our children's lives, is what he was saying. Okay, from when they're born and we're kind of the nursemaids or the caregivers. I mean, you know how it is when you're raising a baby. It's not like they can just start feeding themselves. Certainly not the case. So we have to keep them alive. We have to feed them. We have to clothe them, change the diaper, keep them warm, all that good stuff. Okay. So then after that, he said that we go to kind of what he said was the king. I will include everyone and say the kings and queens of our kids' lives. Okay. We are the rulers. We are, it's still our job to keep them alive, but not in the, we have to, hand feed them or give them a bottle. It's basically, listen to us. We know what we're talking about. Do what we say. My way is the only way you're going to do it here. And, it's kind of our job. And I kind of see that as like, from toddler anywhere up to preteen or even teenage years. That's kind of the time frame that I put on it, where we are the kings and queens of our kids' lives. We are the rulers. And hey, Jerry, what's up, buddy? Good to see you in here. So then after that, after we get done with the king and queen stage, this is kind of where we're going to spend a little bit of time, because this is the stage where I kind of find myself and people who are close to my age or close to my situation or have kids who are close to my kids' age. We're all kind of in the same area, and that is the super fun stage of coach. Okay, so coaching. When I went to MNU for my bachelor's degree a few years ago, we took a ton of tests, and they always try and figure out what you should do, where your focus should be, where you would succeed in life. And with all of those tests, it always came back that I needed to be a coach or a trainer or someone that, kind of teaches other people something, whatever it might be. Of course, and that is supposed to be job related. You could say that I do a little bit of that with this podcast. Maybe I try and coach, or I try and push people in the right direction as best that I can. But I like to coach. Like I like doing this podcast, and then of course I love coaching sports. I know a lot about sports. Sports has always been kind of my passion. I like the strategy of coaching, and then of course I like competition. All of those things really get me, jazzed up. So parenting a 13-year-old, or about to be a 13-year-old next week. Oh goodness, a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old has turned out to be kind of exactly that right now. It is coaching, it is competition, and it is strategy. And so let me dive into it a little bit more what I'm talking about. So you're probably thinking that I'm crazy, but in my mind it makes total sense. But my girls don't need me to keep them alive right now. Okay, they're more than capable of making their own food, of feeding themselves, of getting a shelter over their heads. It's not to the point where I feel like I'm a nursemaid or the king anymore. Sorry, my train of thought just derailed, and there were no survivors. So they need me to help them understand how the world really works. Okay, and this is where people are probably going to disagree with me a little bit, and that's okay. So with all due respect to the trends of participation trophies and everyone is special and safety pins and safe places and being offended and words hurt and scream in the middle of the road because you don't like who got elected president, in the real world that you and I live in, okay, especially in a professional world, no one really cares about your feelings. Okay, I know that there are people scoffing right now, but if I go to work tomorrow and I don't do my job because I'm sad, okay, I'm not going to be long for that job. They're going to get rid of me if that's what I go in there and do. Now, I know in the nightly news, it's all about the ratings with them, of course. So they're going to tell you, that there is this big touchy-feely movement in the country. Well, there's not. I am all for bettering your mental health, but ultimately it can be a very cold and very cruel world, especially in the professional world. And there are times out there that my kids and your kids just have to be ready for that. We can hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Okay, so taking things to the sports world as I do. Your football coach gets you ready to take the hits and to keep moving forward. Okay, your tennis coach, is always trying to teach you to move and to counterattack to your opponent. Your basketball coach is sitting there with the whiteboard, and he's going to draw up the plays to help you outsmart the other squad. Okay, your personal trainer, he's going to give you whatever he thinks is your best chance to accomplish your goals. Okay, none of them take into account the feelings of the other side. You want your opponent to be tired. You want them to be frustrated. You ultimately want them to lose so that you can win. Okay, that's the sports world, but it translates over into the real world. It is no different with parenting. I want my daughters to be tough enough to take the hits. I want them to be smart enough to outthink their opponents. And then I want them to have the winning mindset to ultimately beat any who oppose them. Okay, in sports, in love, in life, once they reach the real world where it can get ugly, if it didn't get ugly out there, I wouldn't have this show. Okay, it does get ugly, and our kids need to be ready for this. If everything were the days of wine and roses, this show would not be closing in on 100 episodes because I wouldn't be able to sit here and have things to talk about. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, Joe. All right, so that's kind of how I felt. I felt with the pivot part. Okay, was our stages of parenting, and there I am in the coaching stage. So in the coaching stage, that's where I feel like you can really do the most good in preparing kids for what is to come. Now, there was one more stage. I'm not to that stage yet, but that was to the friend part. And I have to caution about being a friend to your kids. Now, when Rob said it, he's talking about his daughter who's almost done with college. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got a kid that's over 18 years old, then for sure, you are ready to get in that friend stage with your kid, but not really before. Like, you can't be your friend of your 13-year-old. It's just not going to work out well for you. You still have to be a parent. You don't have to be a nursemaid. You don't have to be the king or queen, although you could, but you for sure need to be the coach, and you still need to be a parent. The parents these days who are trying to be their kids' best friends, oh, my son or my daughter is my best friend, I think you're crazy, and I think you're going to get taken advantage of because your kid is not going to know any better. You got to remember, I've said this ever since my kids were born. Children are selfish. They are the most selfish creatures walking the earth. They don't mean to be, but that's what they are. That is their nature. And so if they think that they can take advantage of you as a friend, they're going to. That's absolutely what's going to happen. So yeah, I definitely caution the whole parents as friends things if you don't have a kid who's still like below adulthood. So okay, now let's move to my other point. If we think of 2 weeks ago, Joe talked about how the perceived hitting the wall. What he said I thought was spot on. He said that he hits the wall and has seen other people hit the wall when it feels like they stop doing the things that were causing them to have initial success. Okay, that's my paraphrasing of Joe's point. But to this, I completely agree. If you're doing something and it's successful and you stop doing it, I think you're going to hit this wall. It's like there's no more forward momentum because you've taken away what was successful. And so when you stop, bam, you slam right into it. And so as this show has always had kind of divorced people at the heart of it, let's look at divorce and relationships as it pertains to hitting the wall. And more simply, what do we stop doing? Okay, so maybe for this next part, you might want to think about putting the kids to bed because let's be real honest, we're all adults here. We can have adult conversations, and sometimes kids don't really need to hear all that. So let me tell you, I will share with you that where in my marriage, millions of years ago that it was, where both of this happened, because the things that were being done that led to initial success, what she was doing, she stopped. What I was doing, I stopped. Okay, so there was equal amounts of basically killing what made you successful. Okay, we're both guilty. I'm not placing any more blame on her than I am willing to take for myself because We don't bash on this show. This is just my opinion and how I view the relationship, again, with it being many, many years in the rearview mirror. So what I stopped doing that ultimately led to kind of that fatal halt is I became very comfortable in our marriage and in my situation, not our situation, in mine. So really, I kind of stopped trying. Okay, I took my situation completely for granted. I wasn't romantic anymore. I wasn't sweet. I didn't tell her she was beautiful. And ultimately, she found someone who did. Now, right or wrong, that's a different conversation for a different day. But those were the things that I stopped doing. Okay, so now let's look at what I feel, again, hindsight being 2020, what it was that she stopped doing that ultimately led to the fatal halt. She placed no value on the intimate side of our marriage, okay? The sex life went kaput, right? And I'm not shy in saying that if you want a relationship that has a chance to last, your sexual chemistry absolutely is a factor in your relationship and in your chance for survival, okay? I firmly believe that. And I think any marriage counselor that you go to will tell you the same thing. I know this because I sat there and listened to them tell me that. And they told her that while she was sitting next to me, and that didn't go over very well. But it is an important thing. So with her placing no value on it, that led us to a halt. Now, you can argue which was first, the chicken or the egg here. Did our sex life end because I wasn't sweet and romantic? Or was I not sweet and romantic because there was no physical aspect to our relationship? And that could be an argument all day. Personally, I just think it's going to be a circle. You could just argue that in circles over and over again. But if you take a look at your situation, though, what made your relationship fail? And if you're in one, but you're feeling like you're stuck, then take a look at what has stopped. What are you not doing now that led to initial success in your relationship? And it can be things. Are you not being sweet anymore? Are you not telling them that you like them anymore? Are you not spending the time that you used to spend? Are you not sending the little good morning text messages? Has the sex life gone kaput? All of these things are things that led to initial success, but ultimately have stopped. So if you feel that you're hitting a wall, it's because something has stopped. And if you can perhaps identify it, there might be hope for saving whatever your particular situation is. Now, I would hate for you all to, sorry, almost got choked up there. I don't want you guys to figure out what stopped once it's too late. You know, after the end has come and gone, like me with my marriage, and then finally step back and be like, oh, I see. Oh, I totally understand what stopped. Boy, if only I could fix that from almost 10 years ago. I'm hoping that you can avoid that particular situation and maybe get something fixed while you're in the process of being in that situation, relationship, marriage, whatever you want to call it. Again, I'm not here to judge, merely to point and laugh. So, hopefully this has made a little bit of sense. Again, this is my opinion. You can disagree. Leave a post in the comments below for this video. Talk it over with folks. Just be respectful, and you can discuss. Now, I will say that the chat room has been the absolute most quiet chat room I have ever seen for any of my episodes. Apparently, I need Joe on here. You guys don't interact if you don't get to yell at Joe. So, and he didn't even come on and watch. That's just sad and tragic. So that is where I wanted to wrap it up with the last two episodes. So there's that is done. I do want to mention just a couple other things as we move forward. I haven't mentioned this in a while, but the Patreon page seriously needs your help. We are to the point of making not enough to keep the show going. As I've told you before, I'm still floating the cost. And now as we're rebranding, there's a few additional costs that I'm floating. So yeah, just saying, if there's any part of you that decides you want to maybe donate to us something that you enjoy, a podcast that airs on Tuesday nights, you can go see the new website. hittingthewallpodcast.com. Click on the Patreon link. Again, if 100 people gave $1, like, I would be thrilled beyond belief. If 100 people gave $2, I'd be super thrilled beyond belief. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, which we're not there. So yeah, that's one thing. The Patreon page, if anyone is looking for a home for their donation dollar, then I ask that you would please consider this show. The second, and I'm going to be real honest with y'all, probably to the point of oversharing, but it happens. So if you were watching the show in its previous incarnation of Walking with God with Kyle Walker, you guys will know that back in, I think I started talking about it in April. In April, I was talking about how in May and June, I was going to go completely alcohol-free and even try and be soda-free during that time span. And it was going to be my big 60 days of getting myself all cleaned up and better health. And I was marathon training, and it was going to be super cool and really great. And I was going to be real proud of myself. And boy, do you want to talk about hitting a wall. I absolutely did. Now you'll ask, what stopped? That's what we talked about tonight. Oh, if you hit the wall, what stopped? What stopped was me having any faith in my ability to do it. I made it 33 days. I made it 33 days out of the 60 that I had promised all of you before I broke down and had myself some adult beverage, because what stopped was I stopped believing that I could do it. And I started letting all the other things that bothered me just creep into my brain and creep back into my life that made me think that I needed a drink to fix it. And so I'm not going to sit here and make some big plan of, now I've got to stop, then do this and do this and do that. I will say that I've got a little medical news. I need to start switching my thinking around. I need to start making better decisions in my life. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm not going to hit a wall by guaranteeing I'm going to do this, that, and the other. I'm just going to say that I'm going to start trying to make myself healthier. I hope that maybe you'll be able to see it when I turn the webcam on every week. If anyone says, oh, wow, you look really great, that would be super duper fantastic. But if there's anyone else out there who is in the same boat, if you need to make a little lifestyle change, if you need to start just living that healthier life, if you need someone to talk to about that, if you need someone as an accountability buddy, I'm here for all of that, because I'm in the exact same boat. Changes have to be made, better decisions have to be made, and I know there's plenty of other people in the same boat that I'm in, so we can do this together. Yay! Go everyone watching this show, which is 4 people right now. Yeah, that's okay. Most people catch it on replay anyway. So that's gonna do it. Good luck, everyone. I'm out. That's going to do it for this week. I know we're going to end a little early, but I made my points. Nobody's arguing with me, so I'm just going to assume that everyone agrees with absolutely everything I said, and that's awesome. And then we can watch the comments later from whenever Joe pipes up and starts arguing everything I just told you. It'll be super great. So hey, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining me. Much love to everyone in Vegas on the 2-year anniversary of the horrific shooting. Please go to the website, hittingthewallpodcast.com. I see Jessica joined in. You just joined late. We're already done. You've missed everything. And wow, sadness throughout the land of Kyle. And now I'm going to give you a hard time. So that's what I do. Anyway, everyone, have a great rest of your week. Hey, be really safe out there. Let me tell you this. When I was driving home from work today, I got almost hit by not one, but 2 very bad words. And when I looked at both of them, they were on their cell phones, texting and driving. Don't text and drive. Let's end this nonsense before I get hit or anyone else. So please stay safe. Don't text and drive. And I will see you guys next week. Again, all the hitting the wall analogies are done. We have finished that cycle. Now we sail off and find other stuff to talk about. Have a good week, everyone. See you in a while.